everyone, my name is Kenneth Villalpando, and today I'll be giving a presentation on why I believe clone troopers are better than stormtroopers. First and foremost, you may hear the phrase, "this is better than that." What do you imagine that argument to be about? In other ways, what are the main variables you can think of that you believe you can heavily defend? In many cases, this can include many subjects like what is the best food, what are the best shows, what are the best movies, what's the best type of car, who's the best artist, what's the best form of technology, and many more. For me, that discussion falls under which Star Wars trooper is better between the Galactic Republic clone trooper and the Galactic Empire's stormtrooper. For context, these are the years we're going to be using between the Galactic Republic, the Clone Wars that happened during that time, the Galactic Empire, and the First Order. First and foremost, I am no specialist in this matter, but I have been a fan of this series for a very long time, and I have looked into the vast lore and stories of the entire series. I was first introduced into the series during the time of the Clone Wars, but as I've become older and watched both older and newer installments that include both the Stormtroopers and Clone Troopers, I can clearly state which one I have more of an interest in. This is a visual representation of the two factions that I will be talking about. On the far left, you will see two instances of Clone Troopers. The one on the far left is a Phase 1 Trooper, which used that type of armor throughout the entire series of the war during the Clone Wars. While on the right, you will see Phase 2 armor, which they use pretty much near the end of it, of the Clone Wars, my bad. And then on the right, you will see Stormtroopers. The one on the left is the one for the Galactic Empire, while the one on the right is the one for the First Order. What makes them different? For one, Clone Troopers serve the Galactic Republic, like I said before. They were implemented as signs of peace and acted as such. This can be shown in the Star Wars: The Clone Wars show, in Season 3, Episode 3, Supply Lines, in which clones and a Jedi General fought together with Twi'leks, which in this case is an alien species, against the Separatists. Again, in this case, Separatists are the bad guys, who were trying to cut off the Republic's support, and yet both the clones and their Jedi General fought up until the very end to fight against the Separatist battle droids to give support to their Twi'lek friends. On the other side, though, Stormtroopers served the Galactic Empire and the First Order. They also were implemented as signs of peace, but they acted in way more violent ways towards civilians. This can be shown in the Bad Batch show in Season 1, Episode 2, Cut and Run, in which a couple of Stormtroopers can be seen messing with an alien civilian because they won't allow him onto a transport shuttle unless he purchases a new Imperial ID with Imperial credits. This is due to the fact that the Empire no longer wants remnants of the old Republic still available to their civilians. Another point that makes them different, clones are well cloned, but they were cloned from a highly skilled bounty hunter, that being the Mandalorian Jango Fett, who also trained them. Mandalorians in this case are very sought after because they are some of the most well-known human warriors in the entire galaxy, since they were also able to fight against Jedi alone. Jedi are like the main heroes of the story. They were also given higher quality armor, vehicles, and weapons. Also, at the same time, they did have a social hierarchy, but it didn't really matter since each clone saw each of themselves as brothers, and they never left a man behind if it was possible. If it wasn't, they had to, but they grieved very much if that happened. At the same time, though, Stormtroopers were mainly civilian-based since they were the trooper that was sought after by the Empire after the Clone Wars. And in this case, you can think of it similar to today's military, where instead of they were being forced into it, they were mainly enlisted. You can only enlist into it. But by this, they were also given lower quality armor and weapons, which made them a laughingstock to fight against by anyone. They also had a social hierarchy, but for them, it really mattered, since those in higher positions never really cared for those follow them, since they mainly just sent them off to wars to die and hopefully succeed. Now then, what makes them similar? Well, both factions did have variations of their troops. This could include your normal trooper, your desert-based trooper, your aquatic trooper, your political-based troopers, those being those who would protect important political figures like the emperor himself or senators. They also had jungle-based troopers, pilots, and many more. As I said before, this did include social hierarchies, but at the same time, like I said before, clones did have the option to let their opinions speak up to the higher ranks, while stormtroopers really only allowed captains, commanders, generals, fleet commanders, things like that to make the real battle plans. Were the clones foolproof? Not entirely. This is mainly because some troops ended up deserting or switching sides. The main reason clones ended up becoming obsolete was due to Order 66. This was a plan by Emperor Palpatine, who was a Sith Lord. In this case, a Sith Lord was like the main bad guy of the story, who assisted in the creation of the clones. And with this, he had a neural chip implemented into each clone, who, or once activated, had them kill their Jedi generals, leaving them with loads of PTSD since they ended up killing their closest friends without being able to control themselves. Along with this, there is an instance of deserting in the Clone Wars Star Wars TV show in Season 2, Episode 10, The Deserter, in which case a platoon of clones found themselves on a farm on a distant planet run by one of their clone brothers who had left the war and started a family with an alien. And again, there was another instance of clones switching sides or fighting against their own in the Star Wars Clone Wars show, Season 1, Episode 16, The Hidden Enemy, in which one of the clones was found out to be a spy for the Separatists, the bad guys, by eavesdropping on the battle plans given to them by their commanders, or generals, better said, and giving that information to the Separatists. That is the end of my discussion, but I hope you all found it interesting and believe my take on why I believe clones are better than stormtroopers. Thank you very much.